Hello and welcome to part 2 in SaleHoo's 5-part mini course on getting started with selling products online. In our last lesson, we learned about e-commerce and the huge money-making opportunity that it offers you. I also introduced you to eBay power seller Ed Coaster, who makes over $15,000 per month by selling his items online. And after learning about how well Ed does, you're probably itching to get started yourself. So in this lesson, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about e-commerce and how it works. You might already know a few things yourself. In fact, you've probably bought or sold something online in the past. But even if you do think that you know it all, stick around for this quick video lesson because you're bound to learn something. First up, here's a quick who's who of the e-commerce world, so you know exactly who I'm referring to. There are typically 3 people involved with an e-commerce transaction. The supplier. Now this is the person who has the large amounts of products that they sell to retail sellers. Suppliers don't usually sell direct to consumers or buyers. Next you have the seller. This is you, or it will be you, when you start selling your items online. Then you have the buyer, and the buyers are your customers. They are the ones who purchase items from you, and as a seller, you'll soon grow to love buyers. So, where do all these individuals fit into the process of e-commerce? Let's take a look at this diagram. The supplier buys large amounts of products from a manufacturer, or they make it themselves. They make their items available to sellers by advertising them online or at trade shows. The seller purchases the items from the supplier at wholesale prices. Ordering is usually straightforward and done online. The supplier ships the items to the seller. Once the seller receives the shipment from the supplier, they list their items online, either on a marketplace like eBay or on their own website. Buyers find your listings by searching on eBay or on a search engine like Google. They purchase your item and pay you, usually via a safe payment option like PayPal, then you send the item out to them. Now that's a typical e-commerce transaction. There are a couple of variations, of course, and we'll cover those later on in other lessons. So you might be wondering, how can I get to the point where I'm selling products online? Well, it's actually pretty easy, and you could get started in as little as a few days if you like. Let's talk about exactly what it is that you need to get started. First up, let's talk about money. Now, if you are like most of our SaleHoo members, you're here because you want to make money, and you might not have a lot of it to start out with. Well, the good news is you don't need a lot of money to get started with e-commerce. In fact, as I mentioned in the last video, you can start with less than $100. If you do have a bit of money ready to invest, then great. We can show you how to best use it to get maximum return on your investment. So don't worry about not having enough money to get started. There are options for everyone. Now you will also need some basic equipment. First of all, you will need a computer and an internet connection. And seeing as you're watching this video, I'll assume you have that covered. You will also need a camera so that you can photograph the items you are selling. In some cases, your supplier might supply you with these photos of the items, but even if they do, it pays to take your own photographs as well. Later in the series, we'll give you some great tips on taking photos that jump off the page and sell to buyers. And you will also need some shipping supplies like tape, scissors, and maybe some bubble wrap. Really, what you do need a lot of is time. As a new business owner, time is your biggest asset, and this cannot be stressed enough. The more time that you spend on organising and planning your online selling business, the better it will be. Just like when you train for a sport or study for an exam, the more time that you spend on your business, the better the results. Over time, many sellers find that they can taper back on the amount of time that they spend on their business, but initially, you will want to put some hours in and really plan out how you want your business to work and what your goals are. One of the best ways that you can utilize your time is just by reading up about selling online. And a great place to do this is the SaleHoo education area. I'll show you this now. When you arrive at the SaleHoo homepage, it will look something like this. If you are one of our members and you're logged in, you will see the members area. But for now, I'll just stick with this page. So just click here where it says education, and this takes us to all the articles on all kinds of information that you will want to know more about, such as finding and sourcing products, importing and shipping, selling items on eBay, and much more. All these articles are organised nicely so that it's easy for you to find what it is that you're looking for. Alternatively, if you are looking for an answer to a specific question, try using our search function. For example, if I wanted to find out more about dropshipping, a form of product sourcing, I could come up here to the right-hand corner and type in dropshipping. Then all the articles and information that we have on SaleHoo about dropshipping will display here in the search results. So just troll through these and find the one that best matches the information that you want to find. All our articles are written by our team of online selling experts, so you can rest assured that the information is of very high quality. Another great way to spend some of your research time is to check out the SaleHoo community forum. I'll show you that now. If you're logged in as a member, it's a little easier to find, but if you're not, just come down to the bottom of the page and click Forum. We have over 80,000 forum members, so it's a very busy forum with a lot of very useful information popping up every day. We have a range of people who talk on our forum, our trained staff that monitor the forum every day and answer our members' questions, including our SaleHoo community manager, Mark Ransom, who is a long-term eBay power seller. Mark loves helping out sellers and posts on the forum regularly. Expert sellers who love passing on their knowledge to other sellers, and new sellers who are just starting out and have a lot of questions to ask. You're free to read the forum posts all you like, and you can also use the search function up here to search the forum for answers. But in order to make posts on the forum, you will need to become a member. You can do this by clicking the Learn More button at the top of the page. Another forum that you might want to check out is the eBay discussion boards. Let's take a look at that. Here we are on ebay.com, and to find the eBay discussion boards, just go Community and Discussion Forums. There are a lot of sellers and a lot of information on here, and you would be surprised at how much information other sellers are willing to share with you. On both the SaleHoo and the eBay boards, there is a community of very supportive and helpful people who are more than happy to share their expertise with you. So make the most of it and check these out. In fact, I suggest that you go there today and take a look around both the eBay discussion boards and the SaleHoo forums. It'll make you one step closer to being a successful seller. So just keep in mind, time is your biggest asset, and the more that you have of it and the more that you dedicate to your business, the better. Eventually, your business will take up less of your time and you won't need to spend as much time on it, but in the beginning, it pays to dedicate as much time as you can so that you can learn the ropes and start building a customer base. Now, the other thing that you will need is an item to sell. A lot of new sellers wonder about what they should sell, and in fact, what should I sell is the most commonly asked question that we get. If you have decided that you really want to sell products online, but you don't yet have a solid idea of what you should sell, that's okay. We're experts at helping sellers hunt out niches, and we will be discussing this in detail soon and throughout this series. Finally, you need a place to sell your items. We've already touched on the fact that e-commerce sellers sell their items on marketplaces and auction sites like eBay.com, Amazon.com, and Bonanza.com. But some sellers also list their items on their own websites. When deciding where you should sell their items, there is a lot to consider. The fees you have to pay. Some marketplaces are free, while some can take as much as 25% of your earnings. The amount of buyers that visit the site. While large marketplaces like eBay get millions of visitors every week, others are only just getting started and have much less visitor traffic coming to their site. You also need to consider whether there is already a lot of other sellers selling the same items as you. For example, on a growing site like Adaway.com, there might only be a dozen sellers offering DVDs, but on eBay, there are thousands. Above all else, it's about striking a balance between all three of these factors. But don't worry, we can help you decide the right marketplace for you and the products that you are selling. Keep an eye out on your email inbox for our next lesson, which is all about picking the right place to sell your items, which will deliver you consistent sales and maximize your profits. Before I go, let's quickly recap on what we've covered in this lesson. We talked about who does what in the e-commerce world. You'll remember that suppliers are the ones who distribute bulk lots of items to retailers, sellers are you, the people who sell items, and buyers are your consumers who purchase your items from wherever you sell them. We also went over the fact that you don't need a lot of money to get started with an e-commerce business. In fact, it's one of the cheapest ways to get started in any type of business. We talked about time and how big an asset it is to you as a seller. The more time you can give your business, the better. Finally, we touched on the fact that if you don't yet know what it is that you want to sell, that's okay. We can help you out with that. That's all we've got time for today. Remember to keep an eye out on your email inbox for your next video lesson coming in the next few days, where you will learn about product sourcing and where you can source low-priced items to resell for big profits. Don't miss it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.